very positive, forward-thinking document that was based, it wasn't necessarily reaction to stuff that happened today, but was built so that all these items would work together to produce a great practice, tree trimming practice, and for the health of the environment of the community. So for that, I think that I was really proud to be part of this great group of people who worked hard together with differing opinions to produce something like this. So thank you.
Anyone else?
We're impressed because I guarantee you there was nobody on the tree panel that fully understood what they were buying into when they the fact that you stuck with it is pretty impressive.
And I'll add my thank you again to the panel. The fact that a number of you are here has proven you're still interested in this process, and I promise you that the board, and it goes without saying, the staff will not let your work go to waste, and obviously we're following up, hopefully in an appropriate way. I want to reiterate also what Margot said. The staff has put a lot of work into this. You all saw that there was staff on hand for almost all your meetings. It seems like 3 or 4 people or more at each meeting, and some of them, they had to be there, that was their job, but it was also something that they took the time and interest to hear and understand and see the process, and they learned a lot, but it was also very taxing on them because they had to sit and listen and couldn't give any input, and sometimes that can be quite frustrating, I know from my experience. So I think I hope we're all on the right track. I look forward to seeing some better results. I'm glad to see that we're going to phase some things in here and there, but some might take a little time to get done. Let me just ask: is there cost savings if you trim a circuit and something else that wasn't that circuit but in the same neighborhood? Is there potentially any savings for something like that, or we just don't know yet?
There are potential cost savings by better coordinating those circuits and doing some work collectively at the same time. So yeah, there are some savings associated with some of these.
And the other question, and I asked Smith the other day, and I still don't understand, a growth inhibitor study. It seems like that would have already been done. So are we gonna learn something? Maybe Liz, a question for you. Is there something out there that we can learn from without having? Because that looks like one of the extra expenses. How can you explain how that would work and how it would be different from something that maybe already done?
There is a lot of current research which we can utilize. I think a big part of our research here on our system is what Mr. Elmore said on talking with some of the customers or getting some kind of gauge of how the customers in the Knoxville or KUB service area would feel about that kind of program.
I think that Mr. Burke wants to.
Yes, sir, Mr. Burke.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I had signed the clipboard to address the board. May I do so at this time?
Please do.
Thank you.
If it has to do with trees. If you have another issue, we might make you wait.
Thank you. My name is Dwayne Burke. Physical address of my residence is 200 Karen Lane, Maynardville. Chairman Robinson, members of the KUB Board of Commissioners, CEO Mrs. Roach, Chief Operating Officer Mr. Elmore, members of the KUB senior executive staff, and others. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was a member of the 15-member KUB tree trim policy review panel that was reviewing KUB tree pruning policy over a 7.5-month period of time. And I became a member as a result of receiving information about the formation of the panel, which was provided by KUB in one of my monthly utility bills. And along with that information was an application to be considered as a panel member if interested. I completed the application and mailed it back to KUB, And about a month later, I received a response from KUB inviting me to serve, which I accepted. My initial interest in serving was to make sure that the rural counties, that my own county, that my neighbors, and that rural perspectives were represented on the panel. KUB, as you know, the service area is much broader than Knox County. You provide service in portions of 7 counties other than Knox. I was primarily interested in KUB providing safe and reliable and efficient electric service to properly care for the trees and preserve their healthy regrowth whenever possible, while being sensitive to customer aesthetic and preservation concerns, and to keep utility rates as low as possible. And that is especially important with the current state of the economy. In representing the views of the rural areas, I was especially interested in ensuring that all customers are treated equitably and fairly in this process, and definitely after the new policies are implemented. So those things comprised, I guess you might say, my purpose-driven desire to be a member of the panel. I will admit that my past experiences with KUB, with the KUB tree pruning program, have been mixed. In 2005, I had a bad experience, but KUB staff responded appropriately to that. In 2008, I had a good experience. But overall, my views of KUB were very positive prior to beginning this process, and they remain very favorable and positive upon completing my work on the panel. I feel that I have witnessed a strong organization in action based upon the principles of total quality management. In fact, we're seeing total quality management work here today. This represents good leadership at the CEO, the senior management, and the Board of Commissioners levels. The formation of the panel and the large number of recommendations coming out of that process obviously speaks to the need for changes of things. I know that you probably will not be able to do everything that the panel recommended. Now, I'm equally sure there are some things that you cannot do immediately, but that you would like to do. The cost involved and their impact on utility rates will prevent you from implementing some of the recommendations. I would encourage you, though, that whatever you decide to do it correctly and stress quality over quantity. However, I expect that there would not be too many of these recommendations that couldn't implement and that you would establish priorities where there are costs involved. And I know that you will do that as you have given us an overview of your recommended plan on a phase-in basis. So perhaps you can keep a to-do list on the side and prioritize those, and if and when monies ever become available, perhaps you might be able to work toward those. It appears that your senior staff has concurred and recommended most, I believe, perhaps I heard Ms. Rhodes say all but 4 of the tree panel recommendations. They're to be commended for the due diligence they gave to the process. And in closing, great ideals must have wings, but they also must have a landing gear. The panel perhaps has supplied the wings, but now you have to make sure that there is a landing gear. I am confident that you will make the policy changes that are reasonable and necessary to better serve your customers. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Can I steal that phrase, by the way? I don't have a patent on it.
Okay. Would anyone else like to address the board assembly gathered here today? Okay. We have some more business we're going to conduct, so we're going to move along. Anybody's welcome to stay, or you're welcome to take a few seconds here if you wish to exit, we certainly understand.
Hear what I said about her.
Reconvene here. We have some official actions, new business we need to consider. And the first thing is consideration of nominees for commissioner term beginning January 1, 2011. And I'm going to recognize Commissioner Simmons, who's chairman of the nominating committee, for her report.
Okay, thank you. The nominating process began in August, and the committee considered candidates, one of which was Keisha Thompson, whose first term expires at the end of this year. She is eligible to serve a second term and has agreed to be considered. The nominating committee reviewed all the candidates and narrowed the field to 5. The charter requires that the board provide the mayor with at least 5 nominees for each commissioner vacancy. The nominating committee recommends the following 5 nominees: Craig Fisher, Kathy Hamilton, Keisha Thompson, Tammy White, Larry Wright. So those are the
Okay.
nominees.
Okay, so those are recommendations of the nominating committee. Are there other nominations? Okay, if not, I'll have to ask Roby Trotter, the board secretary, to distribute the ballots and explain how we.
Commissioners, you do vote for candidates by written ballot. You can vote for up to 5 candidates if you need the nominees of the nominating committee. The other applicants or anyone you choose to write in, please vote for a maximum of 5 individuals. And those 5 receiving the majority of the votes will be elected.
That's not what you say, there's a more.
There's not a limit. Please sign the ballots.
Legend.
I can read it.
While Roby's counting the ballots, I would like to thank my nominating committee for all their service and appreciation.
Justin and Joe may not be aware that at one time we were criticized for when our ballots, that someone had signed their names and they weren't legible, and so that was the nature of that comment.
Yes, and results for us, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chair, the following individuals each received the majority of the votes: Craig Fisher, Kathy Hamilton, Keisha Thompson, Tammy White, and Larry Wright.
Okay. Thank you, commissioners, and these names will be submitted to the mayor as nominees for the commissioner's term beginning January 1, 2011. Thank you, Commissioner Simmons, and committee for the work guiding us through the process.